Good evening. Welcome to the State of the City address. Nah, kidding. That was yesterday. The September 29, 2016 council meeting will now be called to order. Tonight, our prayer and pledge will be led by Pastor Kevin Bright, Senior Pastor at Greggton First Baptist Church. Please rise.
Would you bow with me in prayer? Father, we come before you this evening. Father, we seek your presence. Father, we seek your guidance. And we face many challenges, certainly our country and our state and our city. We face challenges. And Father, we know you're the answer. You have the answer. You're the provision for every challenge that we face. And Father, I pray for our city council this evening, each one of them. I don't know them, but you do. And Father, that you just give them specific guidance and wisdom that only you have as we seek to move our city forward in a way that would be positive, bring peace. Father, we thank you for all the blessings that you've given us in our city in the years past, and we look forward to what our city will do in the future. Father, we ask these things in the wonderful and saving and transforming name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Bright. Tonight, in employee recognition, the Longview Fire Department was recently recognized as a best practices organization by the Texas Fire Chiefs Association. The Longview Fire Department is just the 5th department in Texas to receive this designation. This designation was the result of a team effort throughout the fire department, but special thanks are due to Fire Data Analysis, Clay Kitchens, for his instrumental work in this process. State Fire Marshal for the state of Texas, Chris Connolly, is here tonight to present the recognition. If Chris and the representatives of the fire department please come forward.
Hi, well, good evening. Great to be in Longview, and again, I'm Chris Connelly, State Fire Marshal. I'm not here as the role of State Fire Marshal. I'm here representing the Texas Fire Chiefs Association, as you said, Mayor, and thank you, and the Mayor, City Council, City Manager. Thank you for this opportunity. The Best Practices Designation Program that the Fire Chiefs Association is the only one in the fire service in the nation. And quite frankly, there's a program for law enforcement in Texas and a number of other states, but this is the first one that was created in the fire service. And the intention is that tell me the downside of following best practices. We all strive for that in our personal lives and certainly our professional lives, and certainly for the citizens of Longview. In the case of the fire department, you don't get an option of when you dial 911 who shows up to your residence. You're going to get the Longview Fire Department. Fortunately, this city has a fire department that has gone to the extra effort to make sure they're following the best practices, not only of the Texas Fire Service, but the National Fire Service. And it's critical. I mean, this is a very difficult job, as we all know, but they made the point of going through that process, which is difficult. It took them 2 years to go through this program and to go through all those performance measures to make sure they're doing the various things that a fire department should do. Quite frankly, most fire departments don't take the time and effort to do it. If I was a city manager, I'd ask the question, why is my chief not doing it? Well, in East Texas, y'all are the first one to earn this designation. Not that there's not competition in different regions of Texas. There's only 5, as the mayor said, that have achieved this. We have a couple more to recognize here in the next few weeks. But this program goes over every facet of operations of a fire department, from the emergency operations side, certainly the fire prevention, which would be the fire marshal's office, administration, and there's a lot of moving pieces to any organization, and a fire department's no different. And so it's critical that we recognize, I know Firefighter Kitchens was on point to make sure it gets done. I don't want to not recognize that. But certainly, everything we do in the fire service is a team effort. If you want to be a Lone Ranger, this is the wrong career path for you. But certainly it starts with leadership. Chief Stillman had the vision that this is what he wants his department to do. Mayor, City Council, you're fortunate to have such good leadership in your fire department, as represented by the men and women here next to us. And so with that effort, and again, and while Firefighter Kitchen will tell you that he was assigned by the chief to make sure that the various steps were being followed, everyone in this organization had to do different things to make this goal come to fruition. And it did. And so you're only the 5th one in Texas to earn this designation. As a fire department, you stand out far and above your peers. And that's to your credit. You'll never stop improving. Continual improvement is for all of us. But certainly, by you taking this challenge, you show that you want to make sure that you're providing the very best service to the citizens of Longview through the support of your elected officials or the leadership of the city. All that comes together and beautiful things happen. So congratulations to the Longview Fire Department, and want to acknowledge that. And certainly, Mayor, I want to present this to you first, because all cities got to have someone on point as well to make sure things happen in the city, with the City Council by your side. And so this is the Texas Fire Chiefs Association hereby honors the Longview Fire Department in recognition of their awarded status as a recognized best practices fire department with all rights, privileges, and honors thereto pertaining. So congratulations.
Don't leave yet, guys, gals, hold on. I just want to say thank you from the city standpoint, that I've said it all along, and you all continue to make me look smarter than I am. We have the best public safety, not in just East Texas, but in Texas and all across. And I'm so thankful that you guys spend your time and your efforts and your hearts, because this is not something you do for any other reason than that you have a heart for serving people. And as it was said, it starts at the top. Chief Steelman, your leadership it's obvious. Your ability to follow directions is obvious. Every one of you all, because as stated, this is a team effort, and I think we have the best team anywhere, and I'm proud to be associated with you guys. It's an honor to be here, standing next to you guys in the same picture. So thank you all from the city of Longview. Thank you very much. Did y'all catch that? Only 5 awards have been given such as this. That's very impressive. What a testament to our public safety, to our fire chief, to our community. Thank you all very much once again. Citizen comment. I have a few speaker cards tonight. Mr. Jim Martin.
Good evening. I've been putting this off for a while. Mr. Wright knows about it. First thing though, since I found out some more stuff, if the council doesn't pass a bond to build a firehouse in Pine Tree, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. If we can build a $6-7 million animal shelter, we can put $1 million in a firehouse for firemen that protect this city and people. That's ridiculous. All the mold up there, and they're having to stay in a trailer house now. Y'all ought to get this passed real quick and level that building and get them a building they can breathe in instead of the mold. And that state man ought to condemn it today since he's here, if he's any fire, whatever he is, inspector or what. That's all I got to say about that. That's ridiculous up there. These guys got to put up with mold. But anyway, that's what I come here for. Another thing, I hear they call the 60 cars and trucks in because we don't have the money for the gasoline for the guys that's on 24-hour call. And the city manager gets a car allowance to come to work in. That's ridiculous. Something's wrong with the program. Here's these guys working their fanny off for the city, not making the big bucks, and they have to drive their car to the warehouse and get the car and go out on the job. That's ridiculous. Something needs to be done. Some things, perks need to be eliminated in this city. Trash. I've been fighting this ever since we changed this. I see they spent $16,000 to a firm to figure out how to pick up trash once a week. They used to do it twice a week. Probably ask the truck drivers and you could have got the job done instead of wasting money, taxpayers' money. I had customers bring me 2 extra trash cans from my house, and they picked that up. Then they left me a note last week, I think it was, I couldn't use my old trash can and the one they brought me, that I had to rent one for $5 a month. I don't mind that. But we're having trash picked up once a week now for the same amount of money, except you went up $1. Now it's going up $5 more. For me, that's fine. I didn't order my trash can. They delivered it this week. But something's wrong with this program. I don't know. I work on a lot of people in Longview, and I wish they'd have the backbone to come down here and stand in front of where I do to make a total nut out of themselves, because ain't nobody going to do nothing about it. That's the bad thing about it. You don't listen to the taxpayers. Gregg County goes up on your property value every year. You get more money, and new businesses, new subdivision, you get more money, and where it goes, God only knows, because it's a waste. And I'm going to personally say this, ain't nobody going to like it. I think the city manager, the sanitation man, and the fire chief need to resign if something's not done with these things I brought up here. I don't understand it. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Hear people talking about it, but don't seem like anybody cares about doing anything about it, or they do it. But a man told me a long time ago, you start local to clean up the government, then you can go to federal. And we hadn't cleaned up Longview yet. I thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Kathy Case.
Good evening. I don't know, I'm short, so can y'all hear me? Thank you, Mayor Mack and City Manager David Willard and all of the council ladies and gentlemen for allowing me to speak tonight. I first want to thank...
Ms. Case, I'm sorry, would you state your address, please?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And I forgot to get Mr. Martin to
My
do that.
name is
My bad.
Kathy Painter Case. My address is 1102 Mockingbird Lane. I own property at 1501 East Marshall Avenue also, with my 2 brother-in-laws. I want to thank the Longview Police Department, and especially the ones on the East Marshall Avenue beat, and Chief Bishop and Chief Boone and Officer Rolls, and all of them, for all of their efforts to help curb the crime on East Marshall Avenue. Since we closed Johnny Cases in March of 2014, our building has been broken into about at least 6 times. Windows have been broken, all the copper has been stolen everywhere it could be taken, inside and out. Mirrors on the wall have been smashed with hammers and just left on the floor for fun or whatever, I don't know. And many other acts of vandalism. But I must say that Chief Bishop and Chief Boone and all of the officers on that beat have been just wonderful working with me and my family in trying to deter these types of activities. And I am so appreciative of that. I also want to thank them for holding a meeting this afternoon from 2 to 4 over in that area to help discuss some of the activities that do go on in that area. Fortunately, I had a job this week, so I couldn't go to the meeting, but I'm glad that they had it, and I will be looking forward to hear what happened. I did drive by afterwards and understand that there were about 40 people there, so I'm really looking forward to hearing what was said. So here, I must move on into this. I must mention how sickened and saddened I was. I know y'all didn't write this, but this is my opportunity to speak about it. How sickened and saddened I felt when I saw the front page of the Sunday newspaper, which I still subscribe to, and read. One of my first thoughts was, oh my goodness, my sweet father-in-law, the late Johnny Case, my sweet husband, the late Gerard Case, and even my sweet father, the late Paul Painter, would all be so upset to know what is going on now in this sort of forgotten area of Longview. Johnny had named it the Mile of Smiles back when he opened there in 1964. I know times have changed, and I know what goes on over there. I'm shaking like a leaf, sorry. I worked over there for 30 years. I ran prostitutes off my parking lot so they wouldn't bother customers. You know, I know what goes on over there. But in all that time, my sweet late husband Gerard and myself, and especially Gerard, we did all we could to try to help revitalize that area of Longview. Highway 80 spans from the East Coast to the West Coast, and it needs to be a showcase, a showplace. And I'm just asking for help from the city, from the citizens. Please help us to clean up this area and make it what it should be. I can't get my building sold, you know, and this doesn't help. But anyway, thank you so much for your time, and thanks again to the police department for all that they are doing and have done.
Thank you, Ms. Case. Mr. Richard Henson, would you like to speak during the action item, or would you like to speak now?
Just during the action item, please.
Thank you, sir. We'll keep you back. I have no more speaker cards. Would anyone else like to speak and fill out a card later? Mr. Floyd, please come forward.
G. Floyd, 2109 Southeast Monroe. Mayor Mack, the council, to the city manager and all of those. I was going to shout it out, but I know that wouldn't have been appropriate. But when the award was made to the Longview Fire Department, we didn't all stand up and clap as we normally do when we make these presentations. I would ask that you, Mayor Mack, ask us to stand and let's congratulate the fire chief. I know he's humbled by that, but I also know when you work real hard for something like that, at least they ought to stand and clap their hands for you.
I have no problems with that. Please. Thank you, Mr. Floyd, for pointing that out to us. We appreciate you, sir. We now have a presentation and a proclamation for the East Texas Down Syndrome Group. Could I get Buddy Walk Goodwill Ambassador Zachary Jordan, his parents Richard and Amy Trawick, Zach's brother Hudson, and Buddy Walk Chairman T.J. Angus to come forward, please. And my niece Alex Mack. This is a proclamation commemorating East Texas Down Syndrome Group Buddy Walk Day, which will be October the 8th, 2016. Whereas Down syndrome is a genetic condition and most frequently occurred chromosomal abnormality, people with Down syndrome are members of this community and have a variety of positive ways that they can contribute. The National Down Syndrome Society has created Buddy Walks to encourage the acceptance and inclusion of people with Down syndrome in their communities. Zachary Jordan is the Buddy Walk Goodwill Ambassador, And the East Texas Down Syndrome Group's 15th Annual Buddy Walk will be on Saturday, October 8th, 2016 in downtown Longview. So now, therefore, I, Andy Mack, with authority vested in me as the Mayor of the City of Longview, do proclaim October 8th, 2016 as East Texas Down Syndrome Group Buddy Walk Day in Longview. We just want to thank you all. I know that this is one of the greatest events we have in Longview every year. I've participated many, many, many years with Alex as we've been through this. And if you all haven't participated in the Buddy Walk, you really should. It's such a treat to see the faces, the joy, the innocence, the peace, the love that this Buddy Walk brings to our community. They usually have hot dogs, they usually have activities, games, music, entertainment. But what they have is they have these wonderful, wonderful children out there supporting each other and supporting our community. And, you know, that's what we are to do. Support this group, support our community, because you know what? There's no greater joy than to see the happiness on these kids' faces when they get to walk in that Buddy Walk. So if you have nothing to do on the October 8th, come on out and join us. It's always a good time. It's always entertaining. And you will leave there much better than when you came, I guarantee you. Thank you all for your dedication, for taking the time to put this on, for not just our community, but for the whole country, because this is a national thing. And we're privileged to have it in Gregg County. We're privileged to have it here in Longview. So thank you all for the time it takes to put this on and all the hard work that goes into it. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much.
I think Mayor Mack said everything that I could have possibly said, but Alex tapped me on the shoulder before we came up here and said I'd do great, so I needed to say something. The Buddy Walk of East Texas, as the mayor said, this is the 15th Buddy Walk that we've had here in East Texas, and it's here in Longview. It's done to promote inclusion and acceptance, not only of the Down syndrome community, but of any of our children in the community with different abilities. And so please, we always have a lot of good support from our firefighters, our great firefighters, as you saw, our great police force, the mayor, the city council, different people from the community. So please come out, because we'd love to see you there. We'd love to have just the biggest turnout ever this year. It's at The Rock at First Baptist Church in downtown Longview. So please come out, support our kids, our families, and everybody in the community that needs it. Thank you.
And as a preview, October is National Down Syndrome Month. At our next meeting, we will have Alex Mack and one of her friends doing our pledge and our prayer at the National Down Syndrome Month next meeting. You won't want to miss that. If you've never heard Alex pray, you're in for a real treat. We have a presentation of the sanitation collection changes. David Simmons.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mr. Willard. Thank you. I would like to briefly go over some of the changes that will be coming up this Monday, October the 3rd. You know, we've been talking about it for the last 6 months. I'm sure everybody's tired of seeing tags on their carts and brochures and notes on their water bills, but we just wanted to give everybody the opportunity to be informed, to know what's happening, what's going to be taking place, so that on Monday, we will all be ready for these changes. I'm going to take my clicker. The first change that we will have is that all trash and recyclables need to be inside the carts with the lids closed. Many people have already been doing this, and it has made our neighborhoods much cleaner, a lot less litter. They're looking really sharp. Trash outside of the carts will not be picked up. We will tag any items that we do not pick up, but if they are outside of the cart, we will not pick them up. When we see litter in neighborhoods, nearly all of the time it's because an animal got into a plastic bag and tore it up and ripped it open and got litter all over the place. So when we use our carts and when we're able to get all of our bags in our carts, it's really going to make our neighborhood so much cleaner and help us as we green our areas. Extra carts are available for those that would need them. They are $5 a month per trash cart and $3 a month per recycling cart. Carts should be placed 4 feet apart and 4 feet from other obstacles such as mailboxes or your yard waste bags or your vehicles, anything like that. 35-gallon carts are available upon request, and these have been so popular that we have already delivered our first order, and the second order is on the way. We'll be here soon. Yard waste will be collected weekly by a separate truck. This is a new service. And yard waste should be in paper yard waste bags or loose in personal containers. And if I may take just a moment to do a little show and tell. I did bring a couple of these here to demonstrate, and Mr. Karen is going to be my Vanna White and demonstrate these for us.
We want a refund.
As you can see, the bags do stand up by themselves. They are durable. They are easy to close. Mr. Karen, would you close that for us there? I know we have had questions about how they close. Will they stay closed? Excellent job. Thank you so much, Vanna. One more thing. I did want to show something that is just optional, but it's very cool. It is called the leaf chute, and you can just simply place it inside of your yard waste bag. And then you can just dump your leaves right on there and then just shoot right on down in. It's very cool. It's just an optional thing that the stores sell them. It's about $8, but if somebody wants it, it's just a neat little thing. These bags are durable. They are rain resistant. We did many tests on these, and they lasted 3 weeks, up to 3 weeks, even in the rain. A few months ago or several weeks ago, we had that week where it just rained nonstop. We put those yard waste bags out at the compost site, and we let it rain all over them, and it wasn't until the week after that that the bottoms started coming out. So they will last up to 3 weeks, even in rainy weather. And of course, it's not going to be there more than a week because we pick it up weekly. So we'll make sure that those will be taken care of. You can buy these yard waste bags at any of your local retail stores, such as Lowe's, Home Depot, Hometown Hardware. The Walmarts on Estes and 4th have them. The one on Gilmer is working on it. They should have it pretty soon. Residents also will receive 4 free bulky item pickups per year. That's limited to 8 cubic yards per pickup, which is about 2 small pickup truckloads. So that's actually quite a bit of material. And there's your tree limbs and your junk. Residents can also order additional pickups for a fee. If they would like more than 4, they can order more than 4 and they can pay for that. Commercial customers can also order pickups for a fee now. That was something that was not available before, but is now available. Those of our commercial customers who would like to be able to have a large pickup can do so. And then I would like to quickly go over a summary of our residential services. We provide once a week garbage collection, once a week recycling collection, once a week yard waste collection, 4 free bulky item collections per year, and use of the compost site at no additional cost. Everyone also gets to use a trash and a recycling cart that we provide. This gives everyone the same level of service. Everybody starts at the same level of service with their 2 carts and their collections. And it also gives people the opportunity to pay for extra services if they want them. So this is a really good program to enable people to get more services if they need more services. I would like to brag on the city a little bit. We did some surveys in August And actually, we had 93.5% were already in compliance with all these changes. So thank you, Longview. You guys just did a really great job. We really, really appreciate all of our residents jumping in and getting involved and supporting this. If anyone has any more questions, you can visit our website at longviewtexas.gov/collection and get more information there. Or, of course, give us a call at Public Works. We would love to hear from you and answer any questions that you may have. And at that, I would like to turn it over to any questions that you may have for me.
Thank you, sir, for the presentation. Any questions, council? Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Very nice. Public safety update. Chief Bishop.
Mayor Mack, council members, Mr. Willard, good evening. Before I get started, I'd like to take the opportunity to also thank Chief Steelman and congratulate Chief Steelman and the fire department on receiving their recognized status. That's no easy task to do. I know what they've been through, but that'll be a good thing for the fire department. I just want to congratulate him on the hard work that was put in to do that. Our public safety communications, as you know, handles both calls and dispatching for both the police and fire. This past week, they went through a triennial audit by the Texas Department of Public Safety. This audit is required every 3 years by the FBI's Criminal Justice Information Services Division. They come in for a couple days and they take a look at our network security, our incident response plans, our response to alerts and advisories, our training, our records. They review our department practices, policies, and procedures as it relates to information technology. After the audit, we received a letter from DPS for the second consecutive audit cycle. Our agency was designated in 100% compliance with all of the areas that they came in and took a look at. So I'd like to thank our communications personnel and congratulate them on the hard work that they did to get through this audit. On Monday, we're going to be commissioning 2 new officers, Sean Isabel and Sheila Williams. Sheila came on with us last summer and just recently graduated from the police academy over at Tyler Junior College. Not only did she graduate, but she graduated as the valedictorian of the class there. So we'll be having a commissioning ceremony on Monday, October 3rd at 10 a.m. in the training center at the police station. Also tomorrow we'll be having a retirement reception for Detective LANIE Smith. LANIE's been with us for 20 years. He's retiring, and immediately next week he's moving to Florida. So we're gonna miss LANIE. He's been a great asset to the police department, and you can tell when you're getting old when the guys that you helped train when they first got here are retiring. So if you're available and you want to come by and thank LANIE for his years of service, we'd love to have you, and that'll be tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the Roy Stone training room. National Night Out is next Tuesday. As of this afternoon, we were at 117 total registered parties. We'll still take registrations. The online registration for the parties ended at noon today, but individuals can still register their parties by contacting their PAR officers or Partners in Prevention, and we can get them registered. So we've exceeded our 111 that we had last year, so we're looking for another good night on this Tuesday, or next Tuesday. Want to remind everybody about our interactive crime map. That is up and running for individuals to be able to take a look at the crime that's occurring in their neighborhood, and they can go to longviewtexas.gov/crime map to take a look at that interactive map. Also this last week, I'd like to thank Kevin Hawkins and Patrick Johnson, Veronica Williams and Larasam Williams. They invited some of our officers down to a panel interview with some community members. This gave us the opportunity to talk with the community about different police procedures and operations, and also hear some concerns from the citizens in light of what we're seeing going on across the nation. So it was a real good, positive meeting. Gave us an opportunity to visit and exchange information, and I'd just like to thank them for inviting us down to participate in that. So with that, I'll answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief. Any question for the Chief?
I have one comment. One of the things that I get a lot of comments from constituents about is the trash that we see along the sides of the roads. And you guys, I think, are kind of the last line against that kind of thing, and I know you've got a lot of things going on. But I'd sure like to see you guys make one point of emphasis being to write up tickets for people who they catch and see throwing trash out. I would be willing to bet if somebody got a ticket for flicking a cigarette butt out of their window and had to pay $250, they might not do it so readily again next time. And if people around town start hearing about it, maybe they'll start paying attention to it. But I mean, we're trying to take, or we are, I'm taking a lot of pride in the city. I know everybody here is. And it just kind of brings you down to drive down the streets and see all the trash. It gets picked up. My Rotary group does it. A lot of different groups do it. The next day you go out and there's more trash already where it's been picked up. So I don't know if you guys can make that a point of emphasis, or maybe you already do. And I know you guys have a lot to do as it is, but I sure appreciate it.
We can, and I know when the officers see that, see that violation, they write citations on it. But I'll make sure that we're paying some attention to that area.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Stillman. And might I say you look very dapper tonight.
Thanks, Mayor. It's about as dapper as I get. Thanks for the opportunity to update you on a few things that have happened in the fire department since we've last met. First off, I want to extend a sincere and a heartfelt thanks to our Longview community for the awesome show of support for all of our firefighters and our other first responders in the city on the 15th anniversary of 9/11. It was overwhelming, just the amount of just the expression of gratitude and thank you for sometimes what is obviously a selfless job, to all the different events that we were invited to, the people that made food for us, just the people that stopped us on the sidewalk to say, hey, thank you. We live in a great community, and there's no doubt that we have a strong show of support from our citizens, and we appreciate that. It does not go unnoticed. In a way that we contribute back in honor and in memory of the people that lost their lives on 9/11. 8 of our firefighters ventured over to Dallas and participated in a 110-story stair climb. Each one of the firefighters you see in the picture there did that stair climb in honor of some firefighter that lost his life, her life on 9/11. These guys did this on their own time. It's kind of a competitive thing, and we're certainly proud to have representation like this going over to Dallas and making our fire department be a part of such a wonderful and a memorial event like that. So I just want to give a quick shout out to these guys. They did an awesome job, and they represented us very well. Station 5, as you're aware, we've experienced some maintenance issues with Station 5 in the last several weeks, and one of the things that I just wanted to update you on is that the repairs are set to begin as soon as tomorrow. It's going to begin with some repairs on the roof, and then next week we'll start the remediation efforts on the inside of the station. We are back operating out of that station on a limited basis. We have a single engine company operating to keep our response times where they need to be on that end of town. And we're handling it, we're maintaining. There's really no clear estimate of how long the repairs will take, so we're kind of at the mercy of once they get in and really start doing that work, and maybe we'll have a clearer picture for the next report. But that work is set to be underway here shortly. And then, you knew this one was coming. I do this one every year. Our EMS subscription program is about to begin. Open enrollment starts on October the 1st. And I want to just remind our citizens that you have a 3-month window to sign up to enroll in this EMS subscription program for the 2017 calendar year. So the enrollment begins on October the 1st, and it will shut down at midnight on December the 31st. So if you're interested in saving your family some money in the event that you call for an ambulance here in the city, you can cover your whole household of all the qualified members that live there for $70. Will cover you for that whole next year, so that you will experience no out-of-pocket expense for the use of that service. So I'm going to hit you with this one about 3 more times at the next meetings. Like I said, you knew it was coming. But we certainly encourage our citizens to take advantage of this great opportunity. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
It was the best $70 I spent last year, Chief. I didn't need it one
That's
time.
perfect, perfect.
Any other questions from the Chief? And once again, congratulations on your award and the fine job that you all are doing. Thank
Thank you,
you
Mayor.
so much. We're now at the consent agenda. Any items to be pulled off for separate consideration? Mr. Wright?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to pull, I believe it's E, off of the consent agenda.
Okay. With that being pulled off, is there movement for the rest of the agenda? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Back to consent agenda E. Mr. Wright?
Yes, I know what the answer is to this, but I was wondering if Mr. Ray could fill everybody in on it. Right now, if you look on E, section E, we have 3 bids for a job that's being done by the city. One bid is for $113,000, one bid is for $118,000, which is only about 4% more than the lowest bid, and then we have one that's over $200,000. The first bid is from somebody from Tyler, and the second bid is from somebody from Longview. And we're talking about buying locally, and I hear all the time from different contractors in the city about, well, the city doesn't use me, we use somebody else from out of town. And I was just wondering if you could explain to us why, in some instances, we can use somebody that might be slightly higher. In other instances, such as this one, we can't go to them and say, hey, you're 4% high. Can you do it for the price that this other guy is doing it for, or something along those lines?
There's a state law, well, as you know, we're generally required for anything over $50,000 to go through a competitive process. There's a state law that allows us to have a local preference for bidders that are within 5% of the local bid if their principal place of business is inside the city. However, that state law by its own terms does not apply to construction projects. So when we start talking, or at least over $100,000. So when we start talking over anything, and when's the last public works construction contract we did that was under $100,000? So it's extremely rare that that would happen. But so we simply can't apply that 5% in a case like this where it's a public works construction contract, but we do in all the cases where we can. Council has mandated that we do that, and in fact we do.
Do you know if there's any move to make it so that we can do it on construction projects also?
I'm not aware of any, but we have a former mayor that's a legislator now, so you may contact your legislator.
Call Representative Jay Dean.
I didn't want to name any names.
I'm happy to do it.
Thank you.
Okay, that's a good point, David. Unfortunately, obviously, our hands are tied. We certainly want to spend our money locally when we can, and any time that we are able to, as Mr. Ray said, council has mandated that we use that 5% when it's legal. Unfortunately, in this case, it's not. So we don't have an option, but I appreciate you pointing it out. So with that being said, is there a motion to accept this?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Action items. We have a public hearing to consider a request filed by PCH I-20 Venture. Ms. Choi.
Thank you, Mayor Mack, members of council, and Mr. Willard. I'm going to do one presentation for both of my public hearing items since it is one development. The applicant is requesting to abandon a portion of Lily Street and a portion of Swansea Street located south of Pittman and west of Eastman Road. The applicant would like to incorporate these streets into a development. Lily Street has approximately a 40-foot right-of-way width with 22 feet of pavement section. Swansea Street has approximately 62 feet of right-of-way with also a 22-foot wide pavement section. At the time, easements will be secured for the public and private infrastructure located within this development. As a part of this development, a cul-de-sac that will meet city codes will be installed at the end of Swansea Street. Staff does recommend approval of this request, and I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
This does require a public hearing, which is now open, and I have a speaker card from Mr. Henson. Would you like to speak or just answer questions?
I'll just answer questions.
Thank you so much. Any questions from council? Public hearing is now closed.
Move to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We'll now have a public hearing for the second portion. Any questions? Public hearing is now open. Any speakers? Public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Joy. Did I do that right, Mr. Ray?
You're fine.
Thank you, sir. I knew Jim would be squirming over there, and you look pretty calm, so I wanted to make sure we were all okay.
He's even looking at it.
I know, he's good. Yeah. Okay, here we are to consider a resolution awarding a contract and authorizing direct city manager and city staff to designate to execute any necessary documents to Freeze and Nichols for creation of a unified development code. Mr. Shirley.
Thank you, Mayor Mack, members of council, Mr. Willard. The purpose of the Unified Development Code is to consolidate and streamline all of the processes and regulations outlined within the current development ordinances that are not clearly defined or cumbersome or have become obsolete and will need to be analyzed or rewritten. The city wishes to modernize the land development regulations in an effort to address major issues facing the community, content problems, and weaknesses, including but not limited to the following. Include inconsistent and confusing ordinance format, unclear and outdated standards and regulations, lack of graphics, clear definitions, cross-references, and coordination between associated development ordinances. The UDC will incorporate 5 of the top 27 highest-ranked priorities of the comprehensive plan, including number 10, to incorporate design guidelines, number 13, require all new developments to provide sidewalks, number 14, develop streetscape and urban design standards, and number 22, identify and develop minimum design standards for infrastructure, as well as number 27, implement a parkland dedication ordinance. During the process, the consultant will review, assess, and recommend potential amendments, as well as consolidate all of the land development related regulations to ensure that elected appointed officials, staff, and the public understand the UDC. The consultant will prepare a unified development code that will clearly define the expectations of the city, will include extensive public involvement, and will be coordinated with other concurrent projects, particularly the comprehensive plan and small area plans. The consultant will also provide guidance regarding zoning map amendments, which may be a result of text amendments to the Unified Development Code. The overall project will not exceed 18 months from the kickoff, will incorporate an advisory committee, and include extensive public involvement, which is critical for the success of the Unified Development Code. As part of the process, a code diagnostic and report will be presented to City Council prior to the UDC preparation to ensure that consensus on the direction of the Unified Development Code. This will ensure that the UDC maintains the development-friendly atmosphere that is desired by the community. On August 23rd, the City of Longview issued an RFP that was advertised in the local newspaper and published on the City of Longview website. The proposal was also sent out via email to 13 potential proposers. On September 7th, 2 proposals were received, one from Freese & Nichols and one from KSA Engineers. A review committee comprised of the Assistant City Manager, Director of Development Services, Director of Public Works, Assistant Director of Development Services, and the City Planner reviewed the proposals and interviewed the project teams from the proposals. The following criteria was used to determine the recommended proposal: 25% for experience in providing professional planning services, 25% for education and experience of professional personnel, including sub-consultants, 25% for the ability to meet the consulting needs of the City of Longview and also approach to accomplish the scope of work, and 25% for processing information. Based on a review of the listed criteria, it is recommended that the contract be awarded to Freese & Nichols, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Shirley on this?
What was the cost basis on each one?
The Freese & Nichols turned in their estimate of $250,000. KSA gave more of a range when we interviewed them. They said it really depended on when we drilled down and had meetings and really ironed out the scope, and their range was 180 to 260.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Now, we're using Freese & Nichols because they've also been conducting our comprehensive plan subcommittees and so forth. Is that one of the key reasons why we're going in that direction, or you guys are recommending that direction, that we use them because it works well in tandem with what they're already doing for the city contractually?
That certainly played a part in the review of the scope and so forth because of their experience and their knowledge of local process and policy.
Okay.
But that's certainly not the only reason, and that's why we went out for an RFP, is to make sure that we got the most and well qualified for the project.
I know we've been waiting for this for quite some time, and it's nice to see this getting off the ground. Mr. Shirley, thank you for your commitment to getting this done. I think this will help our community and help the developers and help people who want to come here and spend money, and I think that's been our goal for a long time. And so I see this as a big positive for us moving forward, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We consider a resolution approving concession policy for City of Longview and concession agreements for the Parks Department. Mr. Karen.
Good evening. Now I'm going to return to my day job, if you don't mind, for the Parks and Recreation Department. This evening, we're going to talk a little bit about the concession policy. And if you recall, the original policy was passed back in 2008, and the original intent of that was to allow the associations to offset the fees for the people participating in those programs. The concession stands are the ones at Lear, so baseball, softball is 1 to 4 and 5 to 8, as well as soccer, Spring Hill, McWhorter, and Timpson. Over the past year, as you know, we've been reviewing all of our policies, procedures in order to have a much more efficient operation within the Parks and Recreation Department. And so what we have done is taken a look at this over the past couple of months. And we did this with a lot of due diligence. We tried to involve the youth associations. We actually went to the Park Board 3 different meetings to make sure that we were following what they would like for us to do, as well as reach out to the associations every step along the way. So they've had at least 3 different opportunities, but more likely 6 or 7 different opportunities to be able to provide us feedback on the proposed amendments that we've made to this document. So the new policy, which we took a look at from a consistency standpoint, that was one of the things that we wanted to make sure we did, is treat all of the youth associations as well as the concession stands consistently. We wanted to increase a little bit the percentage of revenue that the city gets because we were not covering the cost of the operation of the concession stands themselves. And so we felt that it was more appropriate for us to get closer to covering the actual direct costs related to those concession stands. And then lastly, to allow for the direct contact with the service provider. We had third-party contractors that are doing some of the concession stands themselves, and that had a little bit of disconnect when we wanted or had complaints about the operations of the concession stand. So those are the aspects that we took a look at. So included in this new policy is the inclusion of Lear softball 1 to 4. That was excluded in the first one, and I believe the reason for that was they assisted with the development of that concession stand. And so they've had 12 years to recoup any of the costs that they've put into that facility, so we felt that it was time to bring that in line with the other concession stands. Womack Field, which is over for football, was excluded as well. And again, we feel just to be consistent across all the different sports and all the different concession stands operated by associations, that they need to be brought into the fold as well. I mentioned being able to increase the fees slightly, and again, $1 increase over the past 10 years I think is fairly reasonable, considering our costs have increased over that time greatly. As I mentioned, the new policy would not allow for third-party contractors. So essentially, the youth associations, if they want to continue to operate the concession stand, they can, and we feel that they have the first right of refusal to do that. But we just ask that it be their employees or their volunteers that do that, rather than them contracting out with somebody else. And lastly, this would be implemented for 2017, so that would still allow all this fall for those associations to be able to get with us to make sure that they're following everything, and then it would be for 1 year. We wanted to make sure that this isn't a document that we want to make sure it's right for everybody. We look at these as partnerships, and if it's not working for next year, then we can come back to City Council and then make some arrangements that may be more appropriate moving forward. So Park Board unanimously approved the policy and agreements, and so asking for approval of those.
Any questions of Mr. Karen? Scott, I want to thank you for your proactive approach in this, because I know that this is we always need to continually update what we're doing. But I really like what you said, that this needs to be good for everybody. It's not just good for City of Longview, it's not good just for the organization, it's good for everybody. And so I appreciate the time you put into this and the diligence that was taking place, because this is a partnership. We want to maintain that and maintain the good relationships for our citizens whose tax dollars built these fields. We need to remember that always, that the tax dollars built these fields. So we appreciate the time that you put in and the efforts here. Is there a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Next, a resolution for appointment to the Longview Economic Development Board. Board of Directors, Ms. Snoddy or Mr. Wright? Or shall I do this? I shall. Thank you. Mr. Wright and Ms. Snoddy are our Council Appointments Committee, and I appreciate their work and all that they've done. We have before us one of our voting board members for the LEDCO board is terming out, Mr. Lester Lucy. He completed his term as voting member in September of this year. We're now recommending that Natalie Lynch, who is currently a non-voting board member of LEDCO, be approved as a LEDCO board voting member, and recommend that John Martin be approved as a new non-voting member to take Ms. Lynch's spot on the voting board. Just a little bio real quick. John K. Martin serves as president of R&K Distributors. R&K Distributors is a beverage distribution company that covers a 23-county footprint in East Texas and employs over 160 individuals. R&K celebrated 50 years in business in 2013 and was founded by Martin's grandparents, Rose and Kenneth Kirkpatrick, who started the business in Longview in 1963. The company expanded and had an additional branch in Nacogdoches in 1971. John currently serves as the Board of Trustees for the Trinity School of Texas, is involved with the Legacy of Longview program, and sits on the advisory committee for the Wholesale Beer Distributors of Texas. He's also been involved with the American Cancer Society, UT Tyler Classic Societies, and numerous other local charity organizations. He's a native of Longview and a graduate of Trinity School of Texas. John holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Texas at Austin. He currently resides in Longview with his wife, Marissa Martin, and their daughter. John, please stand for us. Thank you, sir. And might I say, it's nice to see this generation stepping up and being willing to serve in these capacities, because this does make a difference. And John has extensive experience. You know, John wasn't just drawn out of a hat. He has extensive experience in the distribution business, which is going to be key to LEDCO's search as we're continuing to search for distribution, manufacturing, industrial divisions. So John will be an invaluable asset to this non-voting board, and we appreciate you, John, very much. Ms. Natalie Lynch. Natalie currently serves as Senior Vice President of Commercial Lending for Austin Bank, where she has worked for over 17 years. She's a Pine Tree graduate. She attended the University of Texas at Tyler, where she earned her Bachelor's of Business Administration, majoring in finance. She also earned her graduate banking degree from Southwest Graduate School of Banking at Southern Methodist University in 2006. She currently sits on various boards in Longview Community, including Junior Achievement of East Texas, Newgate Mission, East Texas Regional Development Company, the Spring Hill Educational Foundation as a sustaining member, and past president of the Junior League of Longview. Natalie is married to David Lynch, who's assistant principal of Spring Hill Independent School District, and they have two sons, Sam and Jack. Natalie, please stand for us. I'm going to brag on Natalie just for a second as well. Natalie was appointed last year as a new non-voting member to the LEDCO board. And Natalie has stepped up in so many occasions with her banking and finance expertise. She has helped us with the budget. She has made such amazing contributions to helping us to trim this budget, to get it where it belongs, to do the things that have brought LEDCO into a position where they are right now. And Natalie, we appreciate your, number one, once again, this younger generation willing to serve and step out and do something important like this, but to serve as a non-voting member and then to agree to step up as a voting member. You will certainly be an asset to this board, as you already have been. And Natalie is taking Lester Lucy's spot, who, as we all know, is in the banking business. So Natalie will serve as our financial consultant, obviously, for this new board. And we really, really appreciate both of you all for your willingness to serve. I see Wayne Mansfield's in the audience tonight, our new Executive Director, President of LEDCO. Wayne, please stand up. Thank you, Wayne. And we have Peggy Vaughn, who's been our past president and now the vice chair, or whatever we call this. The organization is restructured, but Peggy, please stand up as well. And both of these appointments come with Peggy's recommendation, which we certainly see as very, very outstanding appointments to this new board. So if there's nothing else, is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all very much. We appreciate you. Items of community interest. First off, Mr. Moore is not here, so might we excuse Mr. Moore?
I'd like to offer a motion to excuse Councilmember Moore.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Snoddy.
Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to say thank you to Natalie and John, and congratulations, and I look forward to working with you guys, and thank you so much for your service. Secondly, to Chief Stillman, I'm sure you're going to hear this 100 times over, but congratulations on receiving such a prestigious award. Awesome job. On that note, I'd like to say thank you to all of you that take time out of your schedule to come to the City Council meeting. And for those of you who look at it on City View or the Public Access Channel, thank you for that. And I'd also like to extend a challenge to the class of 1978 Mayor Mack. I've been talking to some of them. They did assure me that they will start attending City Council meeting. So I'm putting that out there, inviting those guys to come in and help us face these challenges together. So that's
I
all
hope
I have
some
to
of
say.
my class members of 86 will come there too.
Yeah, we were on that stage together, and
Yeah, nice
I
try.
remember.
Me and Ms. Snoddy, we were the proud class of 1978
Yes.
Columbia High School. Thank you, Ms. Snoddy. And I hope they do come. It would be
Yes.
great to see them in the audience. Ms. Williams.
First, good evening, everyone. Thank you to staff for coming out and helping us September 13th and 14th for the sweep of District 3. I need to share exactly what our results were. Citations were issued, 19 properties for overgrown vegetation, 19 that actually had residents in them. 37 properties were vacant. Junk and litter, 71 citations. Junk vehicles, 109 citations. 277 tires, just random. Bulky item pickup, 22.9 tons. Trash, 15 tons. The Longview Fire Department and Chief, congratulations again. 25 fire hydrants painted, and I was out there with them, and what I noticed was, it was so interesting, there's like overgrown vegetation and so forth. So Johnny Zachary, our fire marshal, and he looked at me and said, man, we missed that one. So they'll go back and they'll paint that. Chief, as well as our park officers were out there. Thank you so much. And is it Sergeant Hiles? I just call him Jackie. I looked up and he came flying around the corner and he goes, hey, there's some mattresses up there. We need to get them. And I'm like, okay, we'll just go up there and go get them, you know. Sanitation, Roland, Public Works, Michael Shirley, City Manager, Assistant City Manager. Thank you to everyone. Kadarius Colbert was out there, and also Sabrina Graves and Jackie. So thank you. Okay, I needed to say that. That's a big deal because that was the second one, and people complain about trash, and then people also complain when we write the ticket. But the only time people can feel it is if you hit them in the pocketbook where it hurts. Okay, I have a couple of pictures. Do you have those? It's been a busy whatever. Okay. Top Teens of America, a youth organization that I've worked with for the last 15 years. Sickle Cell Warriors of Texas had a walk. Great, great, great event. I'm very passionate about youth programs. Next. Oh, that's my adopted class. The mayor, myself, Councilwoman Ishihar, Councilman Wright. Mr. Willard had a meeting, but they called his name. That is the class of, and I'm sorry, I can't say it. I just call her Miss Holly. It's Sikorsky. And that is the 6th grade class that I've adopted for this year. Next, there's our mayor. He was there. He's adopted a class as well. It was a really good ceremony yesterday morning, and there we are with the kids, and there's Councilman Wright too. Great. And Chief was out there. Chief, you've adopted a class, haven't you? Oh, you got the fun kids, really? Okay. Next. That's it. I thought I had something else. Okay, hold on. Okay, sorry. All right, thank you again, everyone, for appeasing me. And I just want to remind everybody, I agree with what Councilmember Wright said. It is so important we keep our community clean. And if you see some trash, I'm not asking you to do like I do and just walk down the street and pick it up sometimes. We have really great neighbors on my street and in the area, but take the time to pick it up. Just take the time. It only takes a few seconds to pick it up. So thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Ishihara.
I don't have anything, but I did want to say that I really enjoyed your State of the City yesterday. So I just wanted to say kudos, or whatever. What do we say up here, David? Not kudos. Kudos on a job well done. It was so positive and such a wonderful presentation focusing on the great things in Longview and the great people in Longview. So good job. Thank you.
Thank you very
for that.
much. I appreciate that. Mr. Wright.
Well, we have to thank Chief Steelman. If we don't do that, I think then they'll say, why don't you thank him? But you did it. You guys are doing a great job, and I sure appreciate it, Chief. And congratulations to Natalie and Mr. Martin. I told Natalie we were going to grill her, but I guess we won't today. But Ms. Snoddy and I get to approve the new people coming on to the committees, and I was hoping that Ms. Lynch would be the one that would be coming on. I went about a month ago before she was an elected member, and everybody was asking her questions. They were, what do you think about this? Natalie, what about this? What about that? So I was sure glad to see her coming on there. It's great to have you.
Thank you. Mr. Pirtle. Mr. Willard.
Thank you, Mayor. I, too, wanted to congratulate you about the state of the city yesterday. Do we have a slide, Sean? That... Yeah. I wanted to kind of tell you the rest of the story. The mayor rightly pointed out that my pickup truck was there and wanted to know why it was there in front of the Lone Star Ice House, and I just wanted to let everybody know he asked me to come pick him up. So, anyway, I just wanted to tell you the rest of the story. Thank you, Mayor.
Now, actually, Mr. Willard said that was his wife's vehicle, if you want to know the truth.
Revisionist history.
And she can pick me up anytime, Mr. Willard. Okay, thank you all very much. Okay, Downtown Live continues to the end of October at Heritage Plaza. The free concert series features Leap of Faith on September 30th, Thieves of Sunrise on October 7th, Noonday on October 14th, and Cole Allen on October 28th. It has been fantastic so far. We are getting great entertainment here. So congratulations to people bringing these in. Y'all are doing a fantastic job. Movies on the Plaza will start October 1st at Heritage Plaza. This event starts at 6:30. The movie will begin at dark. I can't tell you that the movie will be playing, but weather should be fantastic. Really, Sean? Or supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I got to start reading these earlier. That's good. Okay, but that's this Saturday, first movie on the Plaza. Don't know what the title is yet, right?
We can't announce it on broadcast.
Oh, very good. Okay. National Night Out will be starting on Tuesday, October 4th. Please plan to attend a block party in your neighborhood. You'll get to know your neighbors, and you'll have the opportunity to interact with law enforcement. Learn more and see a map of parties at longviewtexas.gov/NNO. You know, this National Night Out, it continues to grow every year. And what that tells me is that we're continuing to get more and more involvement. Because when you have these parties, whether it's 5 people at a party or 50 people at a party, it makes a difference. It makes that neighborhood feel secure. 117 this year. Fantastic, Chief. That's Chiefs. You all are both involved in this, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate the citizens being willing to do that because it shows strength and solidarity, and we all know there's strength in numbers. So I applaud our community for participating in this thing. Each October, the Longview Public Library is transformed into the Haunted Library for the free community event on October 21st and 22nd. Volunteers needed to help with all facets of the events. Please contact the library for more information. And the State of the City address is now available to view on CityView and at longviewtexas.gov. It was a fun event. It was very well attended. I feel very fortunate to be a part of the state of our city right now. I feel like we're in a position that we haven't been in quite some time. And that's a result of you all and you all. And my applause are to you all for what you're doing, and we hope to continue to do this. And I think each year we'll have more and more good news. And I don't ever do this, and I'm going to do it anyway. Mr. Jimmy Isaac, you wrote a very, very, very nice article about that State of the City luncheon yesterday, and I appreciate that, and I think you're doing a fantastic job. So it doesn't go unnoticed. Very nice. Thank you, sir. Survey. Did y'all catch the survey this week? And I'm not trying to be political. It's just a question. But do you find it disrespectful when people do not honor the national anthem when it's played? Well, you know what? Me too. 84% said yes. And you know what? I'm all about freedom of speech. I'm about freedom of expression. I'm about freedom of everything. That's what this country is founded on. It's founded on freedoms that someone else sacrificed for us. You know what? I'm not going to go very far in this, but I'm just going to say it's respect. And respect, if you want to protest something, do it on something that you've accomplished, not on something someone else gave to you. So express yourself all you want to, but do it on your own accords. And so I have utmost respect for our veterans and the people that have sacrificed their lives for us and continue to do so as we sit here right now. So I don't feel ashamed about saying it, and I feel a sense of pride in knowing that they deserve every ounce of that respect. So that's enough on that. Next one. Who do you think is the better Dallas Cowboy quarterback? This is going to shock you. Shock you. How about Dak Prescott at 48%? Yes. Tony Romo, 14%. And how about like I watched the Cowboys? 27%. Yeah. Oh, well. It's getting better, though. They're getting better. Well, book club. We have a video, right, Sean? Okay, let's have it. Is this our last one? This is the last one. Carpe diem, seize the day. How does one do that? One way one of my friends does that is when she's down, she looks for other people that need help. She told me a story about having a horrible day at work, and she could tell she was entering the negative zone. So she thought a good way to help her snap out of it was to buy coffee and hand a cup to each teacher in her child's carpool line. You know, isn't that great? It wasn't a large gesture. It definitely wasn't a huge burden, but you know, it made those teachers really happy. And as a byproduct, it made her feel better too. Sometimes that's all it takes, getting out of your own head and think of a way to help someone else. In life, we need to do a better job of picking other people up instead of waiting for someone to come along and pick us up, don't you think? After all, who among us has not had someone lift them up at one point? Have you ever been in the negative zone? Yes. If you hadn't been in the negative zone, I want you to raise your hand. I think we've all been there. And sometimes it's easy to wallow in that negativity. And you all know me well enough by now to know that I'm not going to be in the negative arena. I'm just not. I want to see the positives because out of every negative, there's a positive. And we're going to continue to look for that in our city. And I think that's why the state of our city is in a better place than it was. That's why we're the 12th happiest city in Texas, because we're a positive city. We're a positive group of people, and I think that's evident in how we're doing and what we're doing and the way we're doing it. So, you know, it's very easy to get yourself down. There's no one in this world that doesn't have a problem or problems, huge, insurmountable problems at times. But it's how you handle that problem that makes all the difference in the world. So this has been a fun study. This book is, it's taught me a lot. It's taught me how simple things can be so important and how much you can get out of the simplest of a little book with colored pictures in it. So hope you all have enjoyed this book. I hope you'll be ready for the next study. The next study is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit deeper. It's not going to have pictures in it, but it is going to be a very, very pointed book. It's going to be one of those books that you're going to get back and you're going to go, they're talking about me on that page, because we're going to see that. So I'm excited about it. It'll start sometime in the fall. We give it a little bit of a rest here, and we'll get back to it soon. But I appreciate everyone's participation. You know, this is, once again, continues to grow. It continues to do things in our city that we're a little bit out of the box on, and I like that. So I appreciate the participation and all y'all's help. So any questions about that, comments? Okay. With that, this meeting is adjourned.